But anyways, V4, who saw this? Who saw this? Look at that. Conspiracy testnet. If anyone knows their Roman numerals, is that what they're called? You learn them in like 3rd grade in America. Maybe in Rome and Italy, you'll learn them sooner. I don't know. Maybe they're part of daily life. V, if I remember correctly, stands for 5. So even though it was meant to signal V4, what if V5? And he was just throwing a four up there. He was just like, give me 4, whatever else that would mean. So conspiracy theory, maybe he's doing like a turkey call thing, those type of things. I don't know. Clearly it's him, a real picture and all that, not photoshopped at all. See, what is that in the background, by the way? Let's read into this image. What is this? Is that the turkey? And that's the feathers? Is that what's going on? The turkey is missing feathers back there. What does that mean? It's launching Thanksgiving? I don't know. Just mess with y'all. I knew you were messing, Sloth. I knew I called you, man. I appreciate you trying to rile me up though. But yeah, it's been a day. I'm surprised I have any energy at all. It's been quite a day, which has nothing to do with crypto. It's just been super busy on real life, the thing that everyone should be focused on more than anything else. So let's start from the top, which is technically the bottom, the top of the news, which was this morning. V4 inflation upgrade. You see that, everyone? Nothing to worry about. It's an upgrade. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of upgrades in the next few months to weeks to years. Was I the first person to call PulseX V3? Uni V3, Pancake Swap V3, whatever you want to call it. That kind of an upgrade later on, and nobody was sort of buying it. But I would feel like that could be an upgrade later on if Richard feels like fundamentals are different once things launch and shake out, and he gets a chance to figure out what the market's feeling like and where things are. That's the cool thing about it being a network. We can fork. We can do testnet V3 and do a fork in the V4. But actually, Pulse. Man, I wish I could pronounce that name. He's got to come on and tell me sometime. PulseX Pi. I'm just gonna call him that right now. His video about V4 was the first thing I saw this morning about it. Talked about why an upgrade? Why not just, if it's just why can't we just change a parameter? Why do we have to do an upgrade? And he went into the details behind that a little bit. I think his thesis was we're going to start from the beginning, or start back from V3 and go again from there after parameter change. So that kind of like snapshot type of thing. But it could be that, or why not start from wherever we leave off on this? Yeah. I don't know exactly. We don't get a lot of technical details coming out of Richard or the devs, so we kind of got to speculate and guess from time to time. Not that it matters that much, but anyways, we needed a fork. That was the thing in order to get these the new values and stuff in. So V4 inflation upgrade. Let me click on that. Talk about it for a second. Yeah, people see V4 and think, "Oh my God, when mainnet?" Answer is yeah. I mean, I don't think you should panic. I was not happy when I saw V4, but that was just kind of the first emotional reactions, like, oh gosh, another testnet. I thought this was the last one, but it really doesn't matter. You could just name it it could be V3. The only reason it's V4 is because the devs have to name it V4 because it is, going to be a new fork and all this stuff. And it just wouldn't make sense to not say V4. It's not just surprise us later on. So why not call it V4, whether you like it or not? I don't think it means a delay. I think the timeline's pretty similar. It's not like this whole new thing we need to test. What is it? We had like 2 or 3 weeks between V3 and V4. That's very fast. So yeah, I don't think it's a delay. So I wouldn't worry about that. Let's see. I thought he talked more about, yeah, I mean, this is a good point too. I know he's trying to sell you on not to worry, but this is true. We've had so many test nets. I think it's one word. Exceedingly efficient at it. Their scripts tear down, build up. Yeah, that's the, I talked about this during the previous devsplain stuff. What is that? Can't off the top of my head. It's the cloud Terraform. That's the Terraform scripts. So Terraform AWS. So that's how you can do infrastructure as code. So you can basically define, hopefully my voice lasts a little bit here. You can define what kind of infrastructure you want, and you can just redeploy. Instead of every time on the cloud, you have to like set everything up manually, and you have to either use the CLI or the web interface, and you have to set each VM up and all this stuff. You can just use Terraform, and you can say in code, in a config file, basically say, this is how I want the infrastructure to be. This is how I want you to set it up. This is how much memory and all this stuff I want. And then you can give that to other people and across different accounts, or you can tweak it. It's very good for DevOps type stuff, and it keeps things very consistent, and it makes it easier and makes things more compartmentalized, more like a factory. You're building images of nodes and validators and stuff, rather than just kind of spinning up on your own all the time. So you can commit it in a repo. You can make changes. People can review it. It's just better if you do that in like a professional, like a prod environment. So that's Terraform. That's what he was talking about there. God, I wish I could get rid of the airdrop stuff. And then one more. Come on, mouse. I didn't mean to scroll all the way down. The more finaler testnet. More finaler testnet. Very funny. Very funny. So I thought he's sure. Okay, this is yeah. Transactions seem to have went up, so that's cool too. Although that's funny too. Richard, give us more updates. No, not those updates. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new people coming in who are just like, I don't know. I guess that's kind of these two sides. The new people coming in haven't been through the last 2 years, and the new people coming in also don't know what to make of updates. His style of doing them sometimes too, I guess. Pulse, nearly perfect working network, massive throughput. PulseX working great too. Yeah, we got the buy and burn. That was the exciting new thing that came from there. And then, more features to come, of course. I think there's going to be a rollout over the next few weeks, I would say, of all this stuff. V4, I'll talk about Shanghai here in a moment too. Next week is going to be interesting for those reasons too. Somebody says all he knows give us. He don't give timelines, or he doesn't give good ones. So sorry for saying. I mean, I do appreciate he said sorry for saying feed through the final testnet. Like, if again, when you say something, especially recently, when everyone's like super glued, eyes to the screen, paying attention, you want to be able to trust in what he says, like at least a little bit. It's got to be in the same direction. So if Richard says something is going to happen, some flavor of that should happen. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Kind of like people say, Peter Thiel's always talking about Trump, or when he talks about Trump, he's like, you don't need to take Trump seriously, but you should take him, or you don't need to take him literally, but you should take him seriously. That's what I think about with Richard too, just a marketing angle. You don't need to take Richard literally, like testnet could, or a mainnet could launch any moment. Like, yeah, I'm a validator. I know everything wasn't fixed, especially back then. It's getting a lot better, but I knew back then I wasn't counting. I wasn't losing sleep at night thinking about mainnet launching and am I ready enough? So you should take Richard seriously, not literally. I think that's the best, healthiest way to interpret his updates. Choose security over rushing. I like bragging about 100% uptime. Flawless ops. Yeah. I don't want to test in production either. That doesn't make any sense to do as someone who has written code and worked with devs for a long time as well. All right, I'm going to look at the chat now. Before we do that, I will just want to say, I did say I was going to talk about Shanghai for a second. I think that if we get V4 next week, and again, that's 2 or 3 weeks between V3 and V4, if it comes next week or the week after, that's pretty fast. And is it a coincidence or not that Shanghai is scheduled to happen next week? I think it's April 12th or 13th, depending on time zones and stuff, I guess. So what we're wondering at this point, or what I'm wondering, if RH is going to take that upgrade, if he's going to fork it from there, and for PulseChain. And then I think if we do Shanghai, if V4 is based off of Shanghai, latest Ethereum, all that stuff, then probably going to be at least a few days to figure out, let it shake out, let everything be cool. Don't freak out. They may be a little bit of delay there for a few days or a week or so. I don't think it'd be that long. Against a testnet, if Shanghai doesn't work or whatever, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a huge change. It's not like a consensus change. It's just, stuff's getting staged, unlocked, and all that. So I could see V4. He says next week, right? That's what he said in one of the tweets. I would add another week to that just for testing and all that. So it does line up with Shanghai pretty well. It seems like from here, need at least a few days to figure out how Shanghai, you want to wait at least, I'd say 2, 3, 4 days to be like, okay, everything good after Shanghai? Okay, if so, we start working off of that, put the new features in that, put the parameter upgrade in that one, and let's do it from there. He could totally ignore Shanghai. It even says as a validator, you don't know when you're going to get your coins back. So, a lot of that stuff was copied from the Ethereum docs, I guess, too. But it's hard to say. But maybe it does come next week. Maybe V4 is next week. If so, I would say very late next week, because the 12th is on, was that Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? 12th or 13th. So I don't know. My best guess is we're probably 2 weeks away from V4. Not the quote 2 weeks away, but the actual. If Richard is in obvious launch mode, which it feels like he is, he's ready when the code is. I could see that in a couple weeks.